record. All right. Well, Adam, go ahead and introduce yourself and start us out.
Hi, my name's Adam, and I'm part of the Illinois Self-Advocacy group, and I would like to welcome everyone to the Alliance's Advisor Monthly Meetup. Got time advocating for an issue or concern?
Thanks, Adam. And this is Christine Beck. I am the Alliance's Organizational Director, and today is Monday, October 25th, 2021. And this is our monthly advisor meetup. Today, as Adam mentioned, we are going to focus on got time advocating for an issue or concern. And I don't know if it's gray and cloudy where you're at. It's gray and cloudy here. So we're going to have to make our own sunshine. So why don't you come along with us? So Adam, would you read this for us?
What's an issue or concern? An issue or concern is something you want to change.
Thank you. And today we're really going to focus on how can you make changes depending on how much time you have available to you. So we're going to start with identifying an issue or concern. So this can be an issue or concern that you have in your life. And again, as Adam mentioned, an issue or concern is simply something that you would like to change. So Adam, do you have something that you would like to change?
Yes, I would like to change sidewalk and bicycle safety.
Okay. Oh, that's a huge thing. Sidewalk and bicycle safety. All right. Any other participants? You can either take yourself off of mute and speak up and speak out that way, or you are welcome to type it into the chat box. So what's an issue or concern you have? Something that you would like to change?
This is Noelle, and it's a global problem, but I just wish that people would talk more to each other and that there'd be less hate. We all have so much in common. And instead of focusing on the few things that we disagree on, we focus on those little things, and people hate each other and people do terrible things, and it's just heartbreaking.
Yes, thank you for that. Anybody else want to chime in and share an issue or concern that you have? Let me check our chat here. Thank you. I agree with Adam. Now that I ride a scooter, I noticed that the sidewalks here in Evanston are very uneven, and I would love to see that happen. All right, we have another sidewalk issue or concern. Anybody else want to chime in before we move on to trying to figure out what can we do within some time that we may have available? All right, so let's move on. So think about this. If you have 5 minutes, and sometimes we are very busy. We are busy as advisors and allies. We're probably an advisor and ally to a self-advocacy group. We might be doing other tasks at our agency or organization. Perhaps we have things that we have to do as moms and dads and sisters and brothers, or people out in our community. Maybe it's within your faith community. But think about this. If you have 5 minutes, to do something about your issue or concern, what could you do? So 5 minutes, because people will say, I don't have any time. And you know what? I bet you might have 5 minutes. So think about that. If you have 5 minutes, what could you do about sidewalk and bicycle safety, uneven sidewalks, or people who need to talk more and dislike less? All right. So here's some great ideas. I could send an email to the mayor or city council telling them about the problem. Yeah, that definitely takes less than 5 minutes. Send an email, make a phone call, or write a note. Absolutely. That takes less than 5 minutes. Any other ideas on what you could do that takes 5 minutes or less?
Talk to neighbors about your concern.
Oh, yes. Talk to neighbors, especially if it is a concern in your neighborhood or in your area. You know, there is power in numbers. And when we can speak up and speak out, and we have loud voices, and then when we get one more person, our voices get louder. We get two more people, our voices get even louder. So, Adam, that is amazing. Yes. All right. Ask a friend to also email, call, or write a note. And so, Adam, folks are agreeing with you. Yeah, I think another great idea is letting people know what your concern or issue is. And maybe they have some ideas that you haven't thought of that you could get done in 5 minutes. Anybody else have any ideas before we move along? And Adam's going to share what some other folks have said. All right, let's see. Oh, utilizing community pages to share your concerns. Awesome. So, in this day of social media, you can put your concerns on Facebook, or you can do a TikTok about it, or maybe you're doing Instagram. Perhaps you put a letter to the editor, or you send a note to the editor, and it's posted online. A lot of newspapers and news media sources are online. So, I like that idea. All right. So, Adam, would you share, if people have 5 minutes, what do they have time to do?
Share about the issue or concern or anything having to do with self-advocacy with one other person. Find someone who hasn't heard about it before. Post about it on social media, websites, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Make copies of information about the issue or concern and take them with you when you go out. While you are out, you can give them to people, or you can hang them up on a community bulletin board. Send one email about the issue or concern to your local legislators. Get one person to sign a petition about the issue concern. See, you got 30 minutes.
Right. Thank you for that. And we're going to talk about petitions when we get to if you have 30 minutes, because coming up with a petition may take a little bit more than 5 minutes. So, what you shared definitely fits into this list. And now I have another question for you, or something to brainstorm. Thinking about your issue or concern, whether it's sidewalk and bicycle safety, uneven sidewalks, people who need to talk more and dislike less. Many of us have cell phones, and we can use it to take pictures or record. Give me an idea on how you could use your cell phone or your smartphone, maybe an iPad, to take a picture, make a video about that issue or concern. Tell me how you might do that.
I would go and scope out the area and find the best place to record it.
Okay.
And then I would go to an organization or legislator or something, and then I would show them the video and say, we need to make our town more safe on sidewalks and bicycle safety.
Yes, we know that people learn a lot of different ways, and sometimes it's reading words, and sometimes it's hearing words, and sometimes it's seeing a video of the problem or concern. So I like that very much, Adam. Thank you. Here's another one. Use video to highlight the good and or the bad. Smooth sidewalks versus uneven sidewalks, people arguing versus people working together. Post videos to social media. Send to the leaders who can make changes. Yes, I think we do have a lot of resources at our disposal, and thinking through how could we use those resources that we have to make a difference. Awesome. So maybe you have 15 minutes. Okay, now we're talking 15 minutes. We already learned that we can make changes and get our points across in 5 minutes. Now you have 15 minutes. So let's take it up a notch. What could you do about your issue or concern if you have 15 minutes to make people aware? Again, think about that sidewalk and bicycle safety, or people talking more and disliking less. How could you spend those 15 minutes? What are your ideas?
I would call the city of Evanston, and first I would make an appointment, and then I would show them the video and tell them why I think it's important to make the change.
Yes, I like that. 15 minutes, you can, if you don't know. So say for instance, Adam, you talked about calling the city of Evanston, but you didn't know the phone number for the city hall or the city council. What could you do?
You would ask them, could you give me the phone number for the city hall or something?
Sure.
Or
Absolutely. You could do some research. You could ask somebody you know. I don't know if you can call information anymore. Back in the day, you used to be able to dial the operator and the operator would give you some information. I don't know if it works that way anymore, but you could use part of that 15 minutes to research who to call, what's the number. I really like what Adam said, making an appointment to go see them in person if they're available to see in person. Maybe they'd agree to set up a Zoom call, sharing that video with them so you are both looking at the same thing. Adam, what would you say if you call the city hall and they say, yeah, I'm not able to meet in person. What could you say to them then?
could we set up a time on Zoom?
Sure. Yeah. Set up a time on Zoom. Maybe you FaceTime and you're right there at the issue in question, right? In these terrible conditions on the sidewalk. So I like that. Don't be afraid to not take no for an answer, right? All right, let's see what some other folks have said. Ooh, I like this. Make a social media post and tag different legislators or groups. Maybe there's a community group that you want to tag. Maybe there's legislators tagging the mayor, tagging the council people, maybe tagging the public works person. Perhaps they are someone who would be in charge of making the corrections to the sidewalks. Yes. Oh, here's another one. I like this. Post notices at the grocery store, the library, the community center while out running errands, and you're already there anyway. So, Noelle, you said post notices at the grocery store, library, community center while you're out running errands. What could that notice say, or what might it say?
If you're looking to have sidewalks corrected, maybe have a picture on the notice of a sidewalk that needs repair and say, please help us get this fixed. Contact your local mayor or public works server and have the number there. Maybe have like the little tear-offs at the bottom that people can just take with them so that they will help get, if it comes from a wide variety of people, it might get a little bit more attention.
All right, I like that. Another thing you might do, somebody had suggested that perhaps your community, again, if you're focusing on bicycle safety or sidewalk safety, even about people talking more and arguing less, maybe there are farmers market days or different events within the community, and you could go there and you could hand out information or flyers Maybe you just spend 15 minutes doing that, right? Getting your point across that way. Let's see. Oh, here's something. You could have a QR code, and I'm not sure what QR stands for, but I've heard of it. A QR code on the flyer, and it could take you to a petition. The same thing, you could have a QR code on the social media, and it could take you to a flyer or more information. And if anybody knows what QR means, I would love to have that, what those initials mean. So QR, thank you.
I have a question about that, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, we are all learning with and from each other. So go for it.
Okay, so you put the code on the piece of paper,
Mhm.
and then I guess you just scan it, and then it takes you to the thing, the petition or whatever.
Yes.
And then,
Yes. So a QR code stands for Q stands for quick, R stands for response. So it's called a quick response code, or you can think of it as a shortcut to that information. So my understanding is you hold your smartphone or smart device up to it and do it in camera mode. There may be a QR app, a quick response app as well, but you hold your device up to it and it takes the picture and it sends you right to that website or that Instagram post or wherever you want people to go to get the important information. Oh, here is something. Thank you. It's like when you go to a restaurant and it pulls up a menu. Nice. I know a lot of places aren't having menus anymore because of COVID, but they say, check out this code and it'll pull up the menu on your smart device. I wish I were smart enough to understand that. Adam, are you ready to share what other people have said if they have 15 minutes?
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Share about the issue or concern with management staff at your agency or organization. Research a place in your community where you can share about the issue or concern. Schools, disability service agencies, businesses. Practice talking about the issue or concern so that you are always ready when you have the opportunity to advocate. Schedule a meeting with your local legislator to share about the issue or concern. Make signs to put up in the lawn or post around your agency or organization.
Wow, this is great information to add to that list you all already started. Let me ask you this. Why would it be important for a business to get involved in an issue or concern about sidewalk or bicycle safety? What are your ideas? Why should a business care about that? What do you think?
Because you want your customers to come back to your restaurant in a safe way.
Yes. Whatever your business is, if it's a restaurant, if it is a clothing store, a coffee shop, a bookstore, maybe your business is a disability service agency and you can't get there by bike safely, the sidewalks are unsafe. People want their customers to be healthy, happy, and safe. I like that. To be open for all consumers, even those with disabilities. Yes, yes. People with disabilities have purchasing power. They want to spend their money at businesses who care about them. Here's another question. Why should you practice talking about your issue or concern? Why should you practice talking about it? So whether it's about we need to communicate better, or it's about that bike safety and sidewalk safety. Why should you practice?
Because then you'll understand yourself what is important to you and how to speak up and speak out about it.
Yes, thank you, Adam. And you never know when you're going to meet a person that really needs to hear about this. You never know when you're going to bump into the mayor, or you're going to bump into your council person, or you're going to bump into Governor J.B. Pritzker. I know you've bumped into him before, Adam, but we never know. And so we ought to practice what we would say, kind of like having that elevator speech. All right. And here's another great comment. When you practice, you can quickly and easily share your concern. People are more likely to listen if you sound prepared. Yep. And is it okay if you get nervous sharing about your issue or concern?
Yes, it's fine.
Oh, yes, it's fine. And we all get nervous. And sometimes we stumble over the words. Practice makes better. Not perfect, just better. All right. So, in addition to all the things you can do if you have 5 minutes and 15 minutes, all right, now you have a whole 30 minutes. What are your ideas now? What can you do about your issue or concern in 30 minutes? What are your ideas? And we kind of gave a hint. Well, we did give a hint in the 5-minute one, putting together a petition for people to sign. Sometimes that's a way to help make changes. What else could you do in 30 minutes?
Do a community presentation.
Yes, do a community presentation. So going with that, Adam, with your concern about bicycle and sidewalk safety, who could you give a community presentation to?
The Evanston legislators and the mayor.
Yeah, the Evanston City Council. So you could give a presentation. Would you do it by yourself, or would you include some other people?
I would do it by myself, but I would not mind if anyone wanted to join me.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes we feel more comfortable when there's more people with us. And so I'm glad you said that, Adam. And thinking through giving some kind of presentation to the city council and the mayor, what information would you need beforehand in order to do that? What kind of planning would you have to do before you presented at a city council meeting?
You would have to know the location, the time,
Yeah.
who you're inviting, and make like your presentation in a short amount of period of time, so you know how to span it out in that 30 minutes.
Yes. So maybe part of your planning and preparation is to, like Adam said, figure out, when is the city council meeting going to be held? Where is it going to be held? Is it in person? Is it virtual over Zoom? Do you have to sign up for a public comment portion? If you do, are there any boundaries, like you can only speak for 2 minutes or 5 minutes? And if it's just 2 minutes, can you get your point across in 2 minutes? That's where some of that practicing happens. So yes, love where you're going with that. All right, let's see what some other folks said. Meet with others that share your concern and create that action plan. Yes, the Alliance, we talk about action planning quite a little bit. And here is an opportunity, when you meet with other people who share the same concern, coming up with an action plan. What are you going to do? Who's going to do it? And by when? And writing that out. And then you have a plan to follow. I like that idea of action planning. Anything else that you can do in 30 minutes? So we talked about creating a petition. We talked about meeting with a group of like-minded individuals and maybe coming up with an action plan on how you'll move forward to solve that issue or concern. We also heard about researching and maybe even going to talk to the city council about it. Any other ideas before Adam shares what other people have said? All right, so let's move on. So Adam, take it away. What else could people do?
Create your own information about the issue concern. Do cards, brochures, or flyers for you to share around your community. Interview other self-advocates and allies about their self-advocacy journey. Write a letter about the issue or concern to the editor of your local newspaper. At a local radio station, if you can be a guest on one of their radio programs to share about the issue or concern. Put information on your agency or organization website. Create a petition about the issue or concern.
Yes. And so some of these can happen if you have 5 minutes or 15 minutes. Sometimes it takes people a very short amount of time to write a letter. Other times it can take a little bit more time to write that letter. But within 30 minutes, here are some great ideas. And I know we already had someone who said, sharing some flyers, maybe when you're out in the community, at the library, at the grocery store. Sometimes I see flyers hanging at the YMCA or sometimes even on telephone poles. I like this second dot point. Interview some other self-advocates and allies. So interview your neighbors maybe about your issue or concern and post those to social media as well. I know that we have local radio stations we can contact. And do you know, in the town or community in which you live, do your television stations ever cover problems or issues that people have, whether it is the bicycle safety or uneven sidewalks? Do you know if your television stations cover such things? I know in the St. Louis area where I'm from, that's where I get my news out of. There are 3 main local television stations, and there will be one of them, I think it's You Asked For It, and people can call in or write in, however they contact the television station and say, hey, there's a misuse of funds here or the sidewalks there. And if they like that, I guess they pick that topic and then they do a little bit of a news segment on it. So do you have that with television stations where you live? And I'm not sure where everybody lives to know if you have that. Here's another one. Has anybody on this monthly advisor meetup, have you ever written a letter to the editor of your local newspaper? All right. Oh, here's something. If you are in the Chicago area, there are news reporters that will report on issues that people request. So thank you for that. I think that is quite common with news stations in cities. And you might have to spend some of that time that you have available to research that. So Adam, how would you research a television station to find out if they do anything about issues or concerns? What could you do?
You could go on their website and
Okay.
look about that, or you could call the TV station, talk to one of their people who help know that answer.
All right. Yeah, there's different ways. And if you're not good at researching, ask a friend who is, right? We are stronger because we are working together. All right. And the last one, has anybody ever created a petition or signed a petition? Or maybe have you gone around asking people to sign a petition? Has anybody ever done that? I have never created a petition or taken one around for people to sign, but I have signed one. Let's see here. All right, Tara said she has signed a few. So thank you so much for that. Lots of different ways that we can take steps to change things. And let's see. Oh, thank you, Noelle. I have taken a petition around the neighborhood asking for people to sign. Maybe that's the way that you make change happen. We can all be change agents. All right, so how many people have an extra hour in their day? Well, it's coming up. We will have an extra hour in about 2 weeks, right, when the time changes. But if you have an hour to devote to getting your information out there about your issue or concern, what could you do? What can you do in 1 hour? If you had an hour, what could you do? What are your ideas? And of course, that hour can include the petition and interviewing people and city council and emailing and researching. Maybe there's people in other communities or even other states who have shared your issue or concern and done something about it. Maybe you find out where that was, who was in charge of it, and you contact them. What else could you do if you have 1 hour? Yes, Adam?
I will go to a town hall meeting and say what my concerns are.
All right. Yes, the town hall meeting. And especially if it's getting up there near an election time, I know that people who are running for different positions in communities, they really want to hear from people who will be voting. So maybe you spend your hour going to a town hall meeting. Maybe you spend your hour helping plan a town hall meeting. Either way, we can make change happen. Let's see what some other folks have said. Gather some friends and stand at that location that needs repair with signs to draw more attention to it. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. You know, when I see a group of people standing together and they have signs, I'm kind of interested in what's going on. I want to slow down if it's safe to do so and check that out. The same thing, you could go to a location and you can share the message of talk more. What the world needs is for us to understand that we are more alike than different. You know, whatever your issue or concern is, gather a group of people, make some signs, hand out some information, gather for 1 hour and see what happens. Now, I have a question for you. Do you have to let anybody know if you are going to be gathering for an hour in different places? What do you think? You need to let anybody know or ask anybody if you can gather for an hour. And I don't know the right answer. So I'm not saying that to find out if you have the right answer, because I don't really know. And maybe it depends. All right. So what we've heard is it depends on where you are trying to gather. And maybe you need to reserve a space. Depends on the city, town, and where you're gathering. Some cities have ordinances that require permits. Yeah. Well, here's a question for you then. I saw it depends if you need to reserve a space. So let's put on our thinking caps, and where might be some good places and spaces we could reach out to ask, can we gather for an hour? Maybe it's an hour of planning. Maybe it's an hour for a rally. So who could we reach out to, or where are the places and spaces in our communities that we could reach out to see if we could gather? What are your ideas? Anybody have an idea? All right, let's see what some folks said. Oh, here's something. You may have to contact the police department or city hall to determine if you need permission to gather. Some of the places you can go to for space would be perhaps your public library, your YMCA, community centers. All right. Let's see, folks said maybe the park. Maybe you are wanting to gather on a Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. Maybe your community has a park or a pavilion, and you can find out if you need to reserve it. A lot of times things are free or at very low cost for people who actually live in that community. Another idea could be perhaps you're part of a faith community, and you may ask if you can hold a meeting or a gathering there. So if you're going to be meeting or gathering, what are some things to keep in mind? What might be some things to consider as you're thinking, okay, we want to gather? What can we do to make sure that everybody can gather safely together? What are some of your ideas?
To call the people in your community that you know and ask them if they would like to come to the
Yeah.
meeting.
Oh, thank you, Adam. Yeah. How do we invite people? How do we let people know that this is going to happen? You know, is it just a certain amount of people? Maybe your planning team? Is this something bigger that you want to make a big splash about? I like that. What are some other ideas on things to think about if you're going to be gathering? I know one of the things to consider is it accessible? Can everybody gather safely? Remember, we want to make sure that we include everyone. And if everyone can't get into a building or location, then we're not really including everyone. All right. Is it accessible? Thank you. Is there protection from bad weather? Will refreshments be served? What time constraints? Yeah. So all these are things to think of. And again, it's what we think of within that 1 hour, right? Adam, are we ready to share what other folks have said to add to this awesome list we have started?
We are ready. Let's do it.
All right. Love that.
Write up a blog post on the issue or concern to use in your own or someone else's disability-related blog. Make a video about the issue or concern or about self-advocacy and put it up on YouTube. Build a Facebook page or website to share the message of the issue or concern. Host a Google Hangout about the issue or concern. It might give you a chance to spread the message around the state, across the country, and throughout the world. Learn about Google Hangouts at https://hangouts.google.com.
All right. Yes. And I know there's even more ways to connect. There's Google Hangouts, there's Zoom, there's Google Meet. There's all kinds of virtual platforms that are free, where you can, get together and talk about the issue or concern, plan for what you're going to do about the issue or concern. All right. So Not many of us have a half a day or 6 hours to devote to an issue or concern. But if we did, what could we do? What are your ideas? If we had a whole half a day or about 6 hours, maybe we say 3 to 6 hours, how could we spend that time? What are your ideas? A half a day. I know. Okay. Wow. This is wonderful. Travel to the county or state level government offices to advocate for what you need. So that might be going to your particular county, whether that's Cook County, maybe you're up in the Chicago area. For me, it would be Madison County. At the state level, where would we travel to advocate? Where would we travel to in Illinois to advocate at the state level? Anyone?
To the capital of Illinois.
Right, where's the capital at?
I'm trying to remember, I don't know.
It starts with a sp.
Springfield, there we go.
Yeah, I know. We haven't been there in a while because of COVID. So yes, Springfield. And thank you to one of our participants. Sometimes the governor is in Springfield at the Capitol, and sometimes our governor is at offices in Chicago. So maybe you are scheduling an in-person appointment, and maybe that happens in Springfield, and perhaps it happens in Chicago. But no matter where it happens, it can happen. Here's another idea. Spend the day at a farmer's market or a place where you know people will be gathering to share information, to collect signatures if you're doing a petition. Sometimes people go outside of Wrigley Field. If you're up in Chicago, maybe they go outside in downtown Chicago. Lots of people are walking around downtown Chicago, right? So go to different places and share the message. One of the things that one of the Alliance's self-advocacy member group chapters did, they spent quite a few hours at their local college sharing information about spreading the word to end the word, which is spreading the word to end the use of the R word. So we had a couple of different self-advocacy member group chapters who spent days, each spent a day at their local college or university, sharing information and giving out messages and asking people to take the pledge to not use the R word anymore. So lots of ways we can do this. Oh, here's another one. You could host or attend a rally. So a rally is a gathering of people who come to learn and to work together to figure out how to make those changes. So great ideas. Adam, are we ready to add to this list?
Yes.
All right, we stay ready. Okay, go for it.
Plan a rally highlighting this issue or concern and invite the community. Have a booth at the community resource fair and share information about the issue or concern and self-advocacy. Create pieces of art representing what the issue or concern means to you and put them on display, along with information about the issue or concern. Interview people about self-advocacy and what they think it means. Share the footage at your agency or organization and or on social media.
Thank you, Adam. And I really like the third dot point about creating pieces of art representing what the issue or concern means to you and put them on display. And people are so creative, and For some people, it might be creating pieces of art. For other people, it might be something done through dance or movement. Still, other people may use the written word or the spoken word to talk about what the issue means to them, why it's important to have bicycle safety or sidewalks that are safe, or talking more and disagreeing less. So thinking through what are the ways that people could use the gifts and talents that they have to bring light to this issue, because we all do it differently, right? And I think that would be really amazing. All right. So the foundation for what we did today is on a resource that can be found on the Alliance's website, and it's called Got Time, Advocating for an Issue or Concern. And the Alliance developed this with the support of many self-advocates way back in 2015. And it was developed because self-advocates said, we want to make changes, but sometimes there isn't a lot of time. And we all agreed that sometimes there isn't. Everybody says there's not time to do that. But when we sat down and really thought about it and talked it out and worked it out, we thought we probably do have some time. And there's things that we can do with the time that we have. And maybe it's working over the course of a month for 5 minutes each day. And wow, the change that could happen. Or maybe it's working towards a 1/2 day or 6-hour event. But no matter what time you have, there is enough time to do something to advocate about your issue or concern. And so when you receive the PowerPoint, when you click on the PowerPoint and you click on this resource, you'll be taken right to the resource that you can download and use. We will also include a copy of the action plan, just because there might be a need to action plan. And with that, Adam, will you close us out by sharing our email, website, and Facebook page?
Yes, our email is info@selfadvocacyalliance.org. Our website is http://selfadvocacyalliance.org. And you can also find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance.
Yes. If you're into social media, you can find us on Facebook. Like Adam said, you can find us at our website, and you can email us. Before we close out, does anybody have any questions, comments, or contributions? You are welcome to take yourself off of mute and speak up and speak out that way. You're also welcome to type into the chat box as another way to speak up and speak out. All right, we have great job, Adam and Christine. And I would say great job to all the self-advocates who really put a lot of time and thought and energy and effort into creating that resource. We're just bringing it to life for you today. And the thanks goes out to them. Oh, here's another thing. Just remember that small steps can add up to a great distance when done consistently. Yes. And I'll add to this, every journey begins with the one single step. You just have to take that step. Every journey begins with one single step. All right. Any other questions, comments, or considerations before we end our time together today? I do want to let you know that our next for advisors only monthly meetup will be held on Monday, November 22nd, 2021 at 2 o'clock. we'll be talking about rights. It's my right. How do we support people in learning about, understanding, supporting, and exercising their rights? So you don't want to miss that for Advisors Only Monthly Meetup. Adam, do you want to let everyone know goodbye?
Thank you for joining today's webinar. Have a great day.
Yes. Thanks all. Bye-bye.